This is Caitlin Springer from the Florida Orchestra, and today I am talking about the viola excerpts for all state. So the ninth and 10th grade viola excerpt is from Mozart's Symphony number 35, the Hafner Symphony, and this symphony is just so much fun. It's so noble and it's so boisterous, and this excerpt definitely reflects that. So let me just show you a little bit of how it sounds, and then we're going to talk about how to kind of get the nuts and bolts together so that we can feel really confident when we play this piece. All right, this is from A. I'm not going to play too much, just a little bit. So that just gives you a little bit of an idea of how this sounds. There are some ways that we can practice this. There are a lot of ways that we could practice this. The harmonies are so important in this music. So what I want to do is I first want to just practice our D major scale. We're going to play this scale in first position, 2 octaves, just really try to get the harmonies in our head. So I'm going to set my drone on D and play my 2 octave D major scale. I would practice that every time I practice this piece. I would not touch this Mozart Hafner without first going through my D major scale, doing arpeggios, finger patterns, all kinds of different things, just to really, really get the key in my ear. So the first thing that we're going to do once that is complete is we're going to kind of simplify some things. Now, after A, when we have the theme, we have all these big jumps, right? We go from octave and we're jumping from a low F sharp to a high D. And so we're doing a lot of octave hopping. So it's really important to slow it down to a point where you are able to hear every single note and see how it rings with the drone. So I'm going to throw my drone back on. Now for the first set here, if you're looking at my practice tips worksheet, the first set in our first example, I set the drone on D. So this is our D major, this is the theme, home key. Let's try it out. Really listening for harmony. And that's going to clash a little bit because it's the leading tone. That is okay. I'm going to do that one more time. Great. Do your octaves match? That's the question I want you guys to ask yourself. All right, let's look at number 2. Number 2, now we're going down. And because we have the A octave, let's switch to A. Drone set on A, and let's do number 2 again with a new drone. How are your octaves there? low A to the high A, are they exactly the same A? So keep asking yourself these questions as we look at number 3 now. So here, keep the drone on A, and then we could change it to F sharp or D. You can really have the drone on any note you want as long as it's fitting with the harmony. So let's try number 3. Cool, now let's try it with F sharp. Same set, number 3. Great, so that helps me hear it really well in my head. Are all of the octaves the same? Is everything fitting within the harmony? And then when I go and I play the theme, now I have some reference that can help me and guide me in how to play it really, really well in tune. All right, now the second thing with this one is rhythm. How are we gonna practice this rhythm so that it's really, really strong and clear and precise? So what I do here, so this is an exercise that I do all the time. Actually, I started doing this a lot. This year I was practicing for an audition, and I played for one of my old teachers, basically threw a bunch of salt at me about my rhythm. So I was like, I want to have the strongest rhythm ever. So I started doing this, and it's really, really helpful. Now, if you look at the practice sheet, number 2, rhythm practice, we're doing a count out loud. This is a fun challenge. So what I want to do is, let's start with the brackets. So basically what we're doing is we're keeping the time out loud. So instead of trying to keep the pulse with our bodies, doing a walking pulse, we're adding an out loud of verbal elements. So we always know where we are in the measure. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the metronome on, and we're going to practice this a little bit slower. Let's set it on 80. We're going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're not going to stop. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to start 2 bars after A. So we're going to start by starting with the whole notes. It'll be a little bit easier to get used to it then. 2 bars after A. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you can go on like that. So you got to keep the metronome on nice and loud so you could always hear it, right? If you want to challenge yourself, this is really, really tricky. I tried to do this, and it's actually pretty challenging. But if you really want the challenge, try doing the count out loud the first 2 bars of A. So it'll sound like this. I'm going to put it on a little bit slower. It'll be like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that. Let's see if we can get it a little bit faster. This is just for fun. All right, so this is 80 now. Metronome's on 80. Let's try it from A. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. Great. And if you could keep your voice in time with the metronome, that's really tricky. But you know what? It's really worthwhile because it really helped my rhythm when I was practicing before. Okay, now I'm going to set one more tempo challenge here. Let's see if I can do it at 112. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now that's where it gets really, really tricky. So if you're looking for an extra challenge, there you go. Just handed it to you. All right, now number 3, practicing the fast notes. I call this lightning practice. So we know we could play really fast notes if we just play them one at a time, right? So why don't I take that measure after A and just go. And just, I could play it really fast, one note at a time. Let's see what we could do to isolate this so that it actually makes sense now. So if we separate each of the slurs into little bits and pieces, right? And we add a space in between so we got time to think about it. That's gonna make up our lightning practice. All right, so let's try it out. So this is the measure after A, and I'm just gonna do the little blurbs, the little slurs here. So wish me luck. And I'm gonna go fast, I'm gonna go in tempo, but I'm just gonna do one set at a time. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Just giving myself a little 1, 2 off there. All right, now I'm gonna do it a little bit faster. It's not quite fast enough. All right, let me try it. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. And I want to hold out that last note a little bit longer because we're going to hold it as a whole note. So we have to get used to holding our bow through. Now, we're going to reduce the space in between our little sets here. So let's do this exercise again with a slightly smaller 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. Instead of doing 1, 2, we're going to cut it in half. 1, ba-da-da. 1, ba-da-da. 1, ba-da-da. 1, ready, go. 1, 1, 1. Let's do it again. 1, 1, 1. Great. Now can we reduce the space even more? Like this. Yum, ba-da-dum, ba-da-dum. So it's almost like each one has its own little beat. Ready? Go. Do it again. Ready? Go. And try to keep your bow on the string too. I was just noticing, I was like, let me just like flourishing it. But see if you could actually keep your bow on the string. That will actually help a lot. 1, 1, 1. Yeah, that's gonna help a lot more. All right, so let's do it again. 1, ready, go. Nice. Now can we remove the space altogether? The longer you could hold that last note out, you'll get used to holding the whole note in the actual excerpt. So that's just a fun little exercise you could do if you have some really fast notes. Lightning practice them. Got it? All right, so that's what I wanted to cover here. There are 100 ways to practice this excerpt, and this is only 3 of them. Now, I'm going to go and practice this for a few more days before I give a performance of it. But I hope that this is helpful, and I will see you guys next time.